All right, Blake, I got 3 questions before we do this interview. The first thing that comes to your mind, we want that honest answer, and it'll be over in no time.
All right.
Favorite UNLV tradition?
Favorite UNLV tradition is probably Premier UNLV.
Okay.
It starts at the start of the school year. All the students are out on the intramural fields. We form the UNLV letters, and then
Nice.
the students get in them, and alumni and others get in them. We hold up flashlights, light up the letters, fireworks go off. But it's a great tradition, probably one of the longest running traditions besides homecoming at the
Okay.
university.
I love it. Love it. Next question. Favorite UNLV alum?
Oh gosh, there's so many. If I had to pick just one, uh,
If you can, or a few of them. I know that there are a lot of them.
oh gosh, there's Guy Fieri.
Yeah.
We've got some great, Mayor Shelley Berkeley,
Mhm.
would be some of the ones I would think of right off the top of my head.
Okay. I'll take it. Last question. Favorite UNLV sports moment of all time for you?
For me personally,
For
or
you
for the
personally, yes.
I think lately with Rebel football,
Okay.
going to the playoffs, going to bowl games,
Yeah.
it's really been fun to watch them succeed. Obviously, the best UNLV moment in sports is probably our '90s basketball championship, of course.
Yeah, mine too. Mine too. I couldn't ask you. I had to ask a sports question. I love sports, so I knew that you would bring up the running Rebels of the '90s. So shout out to them.
Absolutely.
All right, we're done with that.
All
Thank
right.
you again. I appreciate that. And now it's time to get into it. What's going on, y'all? Welcome to the Financial Seeds podcast, where we believe that financial freedom is built one conversation at a time. I'm your host, JimDre Westbrook, and every week we are here to empower families to go from striving to thriving by having smart, practical money talks. On today's episode, it is all about relationships. We understand here at Silver State Schools Credit Union that we are a credit union, so we have to deal with money, but we're really about purpose and relationships. So today's episode, we're going to dig a little deeper when it comes to our community partners and specifically UNLV and its Alumni Association. So today, we're all going to be rebels, right? I don't care if you went to UNR, I went to Michigan. We are rocking with the Rebels today. And I have, I think, the best person to kind of guide us through this conversation. And his name is Blake Douglas. So I am going to introduce him properly by getting the title right. And he is the Associate Vice President for Alumni Engagement and Executive Director of the UNLV Alumni Association. Blake, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you very much. Excited to be here.
All right, Blake. So talk to us about, what makes this UNLV community special. Like, if I didn't know anything about being a rebel, and I know that I have my scarlet and gray on today because I'm representing, just talk to us a little bit about the community and what makes it so special.
Sure. The rebels are a special breed. And, they live that rebel spirit. They live it every day, resilience, pride, determination makes a rebel. We have a saying on campus, rebels make it happen. And, we truly do that. There's not a challenge, there's not an opportunity that we're not taking head on and conquering in that true rebel spirit. But it's really about resilience and perseverance that makes a rebel special.
And I know you were speaking to me about this being commencement, right? Like, you having a lot of people getting ready. Their families are probably going to be so excited to see them, walk the stage and things of that nature. What does that look like as soon as they, graduate? Like what are they really getting themselves into?
Sure. They're coming into a community of over 155,000 alumni around the world that are, in the hospitality, entertainers, healthcare professionals, engineers, musicians, everything you can think of out there to support them and welcome them into that family and carry that rebel spirit beyond their time at the university. It's truly overwhelming to watch it work in person and to see the power of the Rebels Forever family coming together and support, whether they're mentoring, lecturing in classrooms, hiring our students, our graduates. All of those things come together to really holistically round out what it means to be a rebel and join the Rebels Forever family.
I love it. Kind of as I'm hearing you say some things like, it doesn't end with graduation.
Absolutely
What I'm hearing,
not.
right? Like there will be this continuation of this love, of this support, essentially starting this brand new chapter as a rebel after graduation.
Yeah, we say it's a lifelong commitment from the day you're recruited to UNLV in ninth or 10th grade, all the way through your time as a student and then beyond.
At Silver State Schools Credit Union, our member-exclusive rates just keep getting lower. For a limited time, you can finance a new vehicle or refinance your current vehicle for as low as 4.74% APR, plus 90 days no payments. Lower your payment and drive happier. Learn more at silverstatecu.com/drive. Talking about kind of that partnership, that relationship that starts, like you said, in high school, now is going to the next part of their life. I would really like to kind of dig deeper about the partnership that we have here with the Alumni Association and Silver State Schools Credit Union. So, like, how did that start? Where did we, feel that, what? We should do this. We should partner up. If you could, don't have to go all the details, but just talk to us on how that came to be and why you may have felt that this was kind of a perfect marriage for you guys.
It goes back to that making friends for a living.
Yes.
My colleague, Kareem Hussein, who is a director of development in the College of Education, brought Scott and Ralph to one of our football tailgates in a Rebel football game. And we struck up a conversation at a tailgate over some hot dogs, maybe a cold beer or a soda, and just got to know each other, talked about opportunities really casually, really didn't even talk business that day.
Okay.
Just got to know each other. And then from there it grew and we continued the conversations and came together to create this partnership. When I look at these partnerships, for me, they're beyond a business transaction. They're truly partnerships. And this one is very unique because it really is the epitome of what that means. And, we've got Rebels here that are alumni that are working on this partnership with us, and that makes it even extra special.
Yeah, no, it's really cool. I've been in Vegas for almost 20 years now. And as I said earlier, not graduating from UNLV, but working around the city, having jobs on the Strip, this has been the best job that I've had. So I could really see the Rebel pride working with folks like who really understand what that means. And then now being a part of it on this side, I'm getting excited of just what the thing could potentially be and not just an affinity card thing.
Right.
What are you excited about this partnership? I know we're early into launching it, but what are some of those things that maybe excite you on what could be for the partnership?
Sure. The partnership is growing, it's expanding all the time. I think we're seeing some great success. We're about 6 weeks or so post-launch of the card program. Watching Manuel and Brandon bring it to life with our team and with Ralph and Scott's guidance has been something I never would have expected to be as successful as it's been so far. But beyond the card, it's really bringing our two missions together to support education, both K through 12 and higher ed, education in general, and what that relationship can continue to bring with financial literacy, those types of assets or skills that we can share through this partnership as well.
Yeah, and I love that. As you already know, this is all about financial literacy. We are having this podcast just to normalize these type of conversations. And I love the fact that you said, this wasn't a business thing. initially. Like it wasn't this grab of money and just trying to get accounts. Like y'all was just chilling at the tailgate. You know
Right.
what I mean? Just watching the game, just being amongst people who have shared interests. And then now it's this thing that's, essentially larger than all of us, where we can bring in what you do, you can bring in what we're doing from a financial literacy standpoint. And now we're serving families. We're being a part of that community. And we can't do it without each other. So, I just love the fact that it's not a transactional relationship. This is more of a relational relationship that we see long-term value in.
Absolutely.
All right. So, you know what? I want to kind of talk about financial literacy and ask you this question, Blake. So, why do you feel financial literacy is so important for young professionals and alumni?
It makes you successful. If you do it well, it sets you up for success. Over 50% of our students at UNLV are first generation college students. So a lot of them are coming to the university without some of those skills, without that background. And I think it's imperative that we take those opportunities to teach those kinds of skills outside of the classroom that you're not getting through your typical curriculum. And it sets them up for success. Years ago, when I was just out of college, I and started my first job at UNLV, my first professional job at UNLV. I was like, why did they make us put so much in retirement? What in the world? And today I'm reaping the benefits of that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Over 28 years of that. But if I hadn't had people guiding me and telling me the importance of doing that, I probably wouldn't have done it at least as much back then. And it just helps you have a future, less stress, sets you up to buy that first home, to get that first car, to have those first experiences, how to manage your student loan debt successfully.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I totally agree. Getting my first job at the University of Michigan after graduating from there, like that was the last thing on my mind about, oh, I should put this much. It's like I had the same question. Why this much? I need, money to do X, Y, and Z. And maybe not prioritizing my future already, just thinking about what I need to do right now. So I love the fact that everything that you're sharing are things that we talk about when we go into the schools. As we're wrapping up this school year, we have already done 360 presentations, K through 12. That's almost one a day,
One a day.
in a whole calendar year. And, we're all about that. Like, most people just don't get that inside the house, maybe not even in the classroom. But I love how we're thinking that, this thing just isn't about surviving college when it comes to financial literacy. We really want y'all to understand that you need to be prepared financially for the rest of your life. So starting to take that next step after graduation, but then continuing how to prioritize your financial freedom for the rest of your life. Real quick, if you're listening to this and thinking, students need to hear this, we got you. At Silver State Schools Credit Union, we offer free K-12 financial literacy workshops and hands-on experiences that help students understand money in real life. Tap in with us online or inside the branch and bring it to your school. All right, let's get back into the episode. All right, Blake. So we're having an amazing conversation. I know you got to run. I know that there are things going on, but this is our Seeds of Wisdom segment. So before we get you out of here, we would love to hear, since it is graduation week, commencement, what are some things that you feel students need to take away from this conversation, this episode, maybe that seed of wisdom as they're walking across the stage?
Sure. The best advice I can give to someone walking across the stage this weekend is to stay involved, take advantage of every opportunity that's put in front of you to network, to engage, to have conversations, to be bold, walk up to a stranger in a room, introduce yourself. You never know where that person may impact your life today or 5 years from now. Take chances. My career, I've been at UNLV going on 29 years in July, and every step of my career has been taking a chance. So somebody saw something in me that I might not have seen in myself and thought I could do the next role. And I took advantage of that, and it's paid off. And I just encourage everybody to do that, to be bold and go out there and, be your best advocate.
I love that. That boldness that you speak about, reminds me of being a rebel. That's that rebel forever, that rebel pride. And, if there is one thing that I'd like for everybody to take away from this conversation is that community matters, right? Everything that we're talking about is all about community. You can't do this thing by yourself. So the relationships that you build, the people who support you, and the organizations that invest in you, those things matter way long after graduation. So we want you to stay connected. We want you to continue to learn and never underestimate the power of belonging to something that's bigger than you, right? This whole Silver State Schools Credit Union thing is bigger than me, bigger than any one person. Same with UNLV. You can't do this by yourself. So we want you to just understand, if you haven't already got the message, that people matter, communities matter. And the longer that we can kind of work together, the better that we are going to be. All right, Blake, that was a beautiful conversation. I know it seemed like it was only 5 minutes, but I think it was because we were having so much fun. If I haven't already said it, I truly do want to thank you, UNLV, the Alumni Association, everyone for being a great partner. I know that this is just the beginning of what we are building here, but we see value in this. Again, I'm very, very appreciative of you being here. And before you run, is there anything else that you would say as far as maybe some of the things that you all are working on for next school year? I know summer break is about to start, but before we go, is there any last words that you may have to say?
Like I said, I think, the Rebels Forever family is out there to support our graduates, to support our community beyond UNLV. And, rely on us, come to us, lean on us, and Rebels make it happen.
I love it. And if you have not gotten the Rebel Forever card, it's out there. It's out there for debit. It's out there for credit. That is something that if you are a member of ours, please pull up to your local branch. We would love to take care of you that way, because as you said, there's a lot of y'all, right? This city rides hard for UNLV. As I said earlier, I got my scarlet and gray on, even though I bleed blue, as y'all already know. Go blue. But today I am definitely here rocking with the Rebels. So if you can, as always, we truly want you to support this podcast. If you love what we're all about, we, again, cannot do this by ourselves. So please like, comment, subscribe, share, do all of the things that will promote and support this podcast. If you're on social media, we need you to follow us. So please follow us on all our social media accounts so you can stay locked in. This was a beautiful episode. I cannot wait to see y'all again next week. Until that time, my name is JimDre, and keep planting those seeds.
The Financial Seeds podcast is powered by Silver State Schools Credit Union, hosted by JimDre Westbrook, co-hosted by Brianna Chavez, produced by Jackie Martin, and recorded in the Scott A. Arkhills production studio. The Financial Seeds podcast is for informational and educational purposes only and is not intended as financial, legal, or tax advice. All opinions expressed are those of the hosts and guests and do not necessarily reflect the views of Silver State Schools Credit Union. Listeners should consult with a qualified financial professional for advice specific to their individual situation.